My background, I studied at Camberwell College of Arts. I went to Newcastle College before then, and then studied at school, and that's about it. I'm not from a particularly artistic family. It's just I was always going to galleries when I was younger, things like that. So I don't really think about what I'm trying to say before I start making the painting, but slowly things kind of start to develop and become available. And I've done a lot of work with cigarettes in the past because I find them quite a comical image. I mean, because you've got this idea that there's something so pleasurable, but it's also killing you very, very quickly, and it's something that I've been very interested in, the kind of slapstick humour that goes along with.
Yet you're clearly very interested in all of these paintings, whatever else they do or don't have in common, in producing extremely realistic, characterful likeness of your subject's faces. Could you talk about that?
The faces are overly developed, well, not overly developed, but they're very heavily worked, I think, because I set myself a time scale for a painting. So normally it's about 4 hours in the morning and then 4 hours in the evening. And what happens is I kind of work into the face. It normally takes about an hour or so to get a likeness. I work very, very quickly. And a lot of the ones around us aren't actually from life or from images, they're from my head. So I've just kind of started to develop this time scale where once I've done the face, everything else comes together very, very quickly.
To what degree are these people you actually know?
One of them, there's the man over there is actually my housemate, and also the disco sniffing is also of my housemate. So I do know some of the characters in the paintings, but once I start to paint them, they're not any longer my friends, they're kind of the myths that I'm putting into the painting. So if I've been hanging around with someone for a long time, elements of their facial features start to come into the faces.
The exhibition contains a number of drawings. How do these drawings relate to the finished paintings?
Well, the drawing is the cornerstone of my practice, really. There's no kind of everything starts and almost finishes with the drawing. So I sit in places and I'll draw people that walk past, or I'll draw from life, or I'll draw from my head, and then I'll sketch and just continuously drawing, and then that slowly feeds into the bigger work. If I think that there's a composition that I like, then I'll start to move that in. A lot of some of the drawings over here, there's a painting of a pipe, drawing of a pipe, and then that's moved into a bigger piece of work.
Are any of them directly connected to the paintings? Or do they?
No, it never goes like small version and then the large painting. I never sketch up a painting before I start it.
So the drawings are independent creations in the same spirit as the paintings, is that correct?
Well, the drawing, I'd probably say that the paintings are more in the spirit of the drawing. I'm trying to get that spontaneity and that fluidity that you get from drawing that I really, really enjoy. I've had that a lot, that my work does bring a kind of graffiti element to it. And it's not intentional in the slightest, but I suppose visually, just the use of line and the use of mark does definitely have a feeling of spray can work and of graffiti work, and that initial kind of smack of visual impetus, I suppose, is just, it's quite prevalent in my work.
Have you ever done any street art?
I did, when I was a lot younger. I definitely did quite a lot of stenciling and that kind of thing. I think a lot of contemporary painters are looking at Philip Guston, that kind of thing. He did a fantastic series of caricatures about Nixon, if you've seen them. They're really quite fantastic, and it's just of Nixon, but he's got basically a cock as a nose, and they're really very politically charged and quite fantastic.
One of the things which I sometimes say to artists in your generation is, and I mean it quite sincerely, the point is not so much to attract the attention of somebody like me, who's been around for a long time, but to hold the attention of your contemporaries. What do you feel about that? What I'm saying is, it's an artist's contemporaries who carry him on into the future. I won't be here.
I think the artist contemporary, like the idea of being part of a community or part of having access to your contemporary's work has always been incredibly important. Obviously, with the advent of the internet, we don't have to go to like having someone from the Tate or someone from Saatchi come along and see our work, because you have the internet. A lot of my friends have done online exhibitions and things like that, and it's just kind of opened everything up. And
well, in one sense, London is probably the most global city for art in the world at the moment. There's a development which surprises me since I go back such a long way. But on the other hand, the whole idea of something like the Paris of the 1920s, with artists in cafes,
creative movements,
that to some extent has been supplanted by what you were talking about, the internet. Could you talk about the whole global nexus?
I think, apart from the Stuckists, I can't really think of many other artist movements. I can think of collaborations, but I can't really. I mean, as you say, the advent of the internet, you don't really need to be within your local community. You don't really need to go to a certain cafe like they did in the 1920s and hang out with all the other surrealists. You can do it online or do it digitally, and it's opened up a world. There's loads of blogs at the moment that you can share work incredibly easily, and you can get noticed on them incredibly easily. You can sell work through them, and you can sell prints through them. I know many of my, a couple of my friends have been able to make a fairly good living just from purely through the internet. They don't even have to meet people face to face. They can just...
Yeah, I don't want to terrify you, but I'd like to point out that once this particular interview goes up on YouTube, it's immediately available to everybody. If they're in Japan, if they're in South Africa, if they're in Russia and speak a bit of English, there you are. What do you feel about that?
Well, that's the thing about the internet, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't agree to be filmed if I obviously know that this is going to be a worldwide or available worldwide. So it's incredibly interesting. Now, I think because of that, you see a lot of places like Saatchi Gallery. They're trying to do a lot of the Pan America show, and they do a lot of things with Asia and that kind of thing, because it's opening these markets that just haven't really been seen before and haven't been tapped before, because a lot of, obviously in London or in Paris or in New York, there's a lot of galleries and things like that, but they're not going to send out scouts to, or maybe they do, I don't know, a bit naive on that, but they're not going to send out scouts to Asia to find new contemporary artists. They're going to have to come to them. But now, because of the internet, I mean, everyone can see what everyone else is doing, and I think it's a good thing for me, obviously, coming into this, but it's also, I feel a little bit of a shame that I don't get to see that thing where there's one hangout where you could go to and you'll either be accepted or not accepted by your contemporaries. And I mean, in London.
A couple of questions just to finish with, since we're talking about the internet. How much time do you spend on the computer? And do you correspond with other artists on the computer?
How much time do I spend on the internet? In terms of corresponding with other artists, I'd probably only say people that I've been to college with, or people that I've been to university with, or people that I've known for a while or met at shows. It's normally a face-to-face meeting and then going from there. But having said that, I've had things on blogs, and people have been incredibly complimentary of my work, and people have, offered to show my work in some cases, and it's good that they can do that, but it almost feels like empty words. Like a like isn't really a like on the internet isn't really worth anything as much as if I meet someone in real life and I could say, you know, do you want to do a show together, kind of thing.
Final question. Do you have any ambitions to travel abroad? And if you do, where would you go and what would you hope to find?
In terms of travelling abroad, I'd love to travel abroad. I've looked into residencies in Hamburg and Berlin, also MAs in Hamburg specifically, and even Stuttgart and Leipzig, but I think I'd thoroughly enjoy it if I could actually go over there and meet new people and just different kind of way of seeing things, because London's relatively set in the way it does things. It's a kind of a young contemporary kind of non-figurative area down in South London that I go to a lot with a lot of my friends, and like a lot of the galleries, they show no figurative work at all. It's almost like a kind of rule that there's not going to be any work where the hand has made a figurative image, but I think it's a little bit more respected in Germany. It seems to go through a lot of their works.
So one last question. So you already effectively think of yourself as an international artist rather than simply British artist, is that true?
Yeah, well, I am definitely an international artist. I have some of my work in Toronto at the moment, so it's just the way that the world works, I guess. Yeah.